matters when it comes to dance. Hi everyone, I'm Annika and welcome back to the 7th episode of Rhythm and Reality, where we interview dancers about their experiences on the dance floor and through life. Today I interviewed Kensie, who's a professional dancer living in New York and has some unique insight. So let's take a listen. Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Rhythm and Reality. Today I have Kensie here, she's going to tell us a little bit about her experience with dance. So, do you want to go ahead and give us a little introduction?
Yeah, hey everyone, my name is Kenzie. I'm so excited to be on today. Yeah, my experience with dance. So I've been dancing ever since I was 4 years old. I started off as a baby, loved it, but I also did t-ball at the same time when I started, and I actually loved that more than I loved dance. Um, I remember like being excited to leave dance so I could go play t-ball outside. So there was like a bit of this moment where it was of like, am I gonna go more into dance? Am I gonna maybe stay in sports? And I tried a few things growing up, but I had this teacher, when I was really young, probably like 5 years old, but you would think you can't have like a big experience when you're when you're five.
Mm-hmm.
But she saw something in me at 5 years old, and I remember her telling my mom. Well, I don't remember, but I remember this story of her telling my mom, "You need to keep her in dance." Because I wanted to quit because I didn't like tap dance. I remember learning that and being scared of the taps, and
Oh,
so there I know at really little wanting to leave. Um, but that dance teacher told my mom like keep her in dance. She has something, and so I stayed in dance. I started competing when I was 8 years old. Um, and that's when I really started to love it. I met a lot of people, a lot of mentors, teachers that inspired me so much and instilled a passion. Probably at 8 years old is when I really was like, oh, like this is so fun. I really want to keep doing this. And then by the time I got to high school, maybe like 15 or 16, that's when I was like, okay, no, I want to keep doing this as long as I can. And that's kind of how, yeah, I started and how I kind of continued um, through, yeah, my earlier years.
that's awesome. So when did you know that you wanted to take that beyond a hobby?
Mm. Yeah, I don't have like a specific moment where I remember like sitting and being like, this is what I was gonna do, but I do remember I think I was a freshman in high school or maybe a sophomore. Um, where you have to start thinking about your life, what you want to do, and how you want to go about college or not college or whatever. And I am so blessed because I had a lot of people tell me and speak life into me about my career and about dance. And I had people really say, you got to keep doing this. And I think around that time, I also was like there's no way I could stop doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was around my like early high school years where I decided to start thinking about pursuing it professionally. And then yeah, from there it just became, yeah, what we'll talk about more, I guess. So
Yeah. So is that kind of your title now? Like, would you say, if you're introducing yourself, like, oh, I'm a professional dancer?
yeah, I'd say that. I'd say I can say that. I definitely am in my, yeah, I definitely say if someone asks me what do you do, I say I'm a dancer. And it's such a tricky industry. So I wouldn't say I'm full-time professional dancer, but that is what I like to say my first title is.
That's awesome. What have
Thank
some of
you.
your experiences been like with that? Like, I know through our mutual connection, she briefly mentioned that you danced in New York. How was that
Mhm.
experience?
Yeah, yeah. So I live in New York City right now. I moved here Um, right after, I actually didn't go to college. I did a 9 month conservatory program in Massachusetts, under the direction of some choreographers and teachers that I really admired. And dreamed of working with. So that was such a gift to be able to do that and train for 9 months straight. And then I took the summer off, and actually it was like, I'm never going to move to New York. I'm from a smaller town in North Carolina. So I was like, I don't want to be in the hustle bustle. I actually really loved California and LA. And so a part of me was like, I'm going there after, I'm going to do that scene. But then I remember after the end of my program, a lot of people were telling me I kind of like they could kind of see me in New York, and I started to think, well, I'll be closer to family, and a year, just a year, I'll just try it. And now 4 years later, I'm still here, so that's
Wow.
good. but but yeah, I love it so much here. It is truly one of my favorite places ever. I've met my best friends in the world here, and the dance scene and the community that I've been able to be a part of is truly such a gift. And I have learned so much about myself as a person, but also a dancer, and all the rooms I've gotten to be in. And so, yeah, I love New York. It is so, so awesome.
Wow, that's so cool. Still, after 4 years, and versus like, I imagine that your first impression of New York was different, but then I mean, you've went there and you've stayed, so I'm sure it was much different than you originally expected.
Yeah, yeah. I remember because I would come visit sometimes as a kid, and every time I never liked it. And I think it's something about moving and planting yourself somewhere where you kind of have to learn how to just live. And so I remember the first 2 months being a little hard, but after that, I just remember falling in love with the city. I just feel the people here, it's so diverse. There's so many different cultures, so many different people with different backgrounds. And I've gotten to become friends with so many different people, and I've learned so much from them. And yeah, just by who they are. And yeah, so I feel like I had to be planted here and just like go and learn everything to like make myself fall in love with it.
Wow, that's so cool. And just out of curiosity, also, what does a normal day look like for you? Like you mentioned, you were in more of a program versus going to, say, a university, but what does that normal day look like? Do you have different projects that you go and do?
Yeah. Yeah, so I did. So my program that I did before I moved to New York was just 9 months. So that was like a strict schedule for 9 months straight. Then I ended that program, moved to the city, and now it's funny when people ask me this question because I don't have like a normal schedule every week. It's very different. Um, so I do like a bunch of different jobs just to live here. But I teach dance. I nanny on occasion. I work for a dance competition. So that kind of varies in like when I'm going to be gone, when I'm going to be teaching, etc. But also some weeks I do have gigs or projects. So there could be one morning where, okay, we have a 7 a.m. call. I have to be up, makeup, hair, everything, go shoot for a campaign, a clothing brand, or one of my friends' projects, or for a submission. And then you do that for a couple hours, and then I have the whole day off. Or I'm working, I'm training, I still take a lot of class. So maybe it's like a 1:30 class. I have my morning off, and then I work at night. So it really is so different, which I kind of love because I'm a person of, I think I'm very spontaneous and very go with the flow most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the newness of what the city can bring, and also just dance, etc. It's wild because you could get a call like the night before saying, "Hey, can you fill in for someone for this?" Or I have an audition. I also audition a lot, and those sometimes are very last minute. So yeah, it's a very like up and down roller coaster schedule, which I don't mind. I just have to learn to breathe throughout the week so I don't go a little crazy.
For sure. Do you know
Yeah.
your MBTI personality type by chance?
Yes. It's the campaign. Oh wait, no. I don't remember the letters. I used to be. I remember when I first took it, I was the campaigner, whatever that one
Mm-hmm.
is. And then I took it like every single time I've taken it since then. I've been the peace Peacemaker, whatever that one is.
Mhm.
I don't remember the letters, but I think it started with an I.
You seem like a very. The only reason I asked that is just
Yeah.
like the way you're describing and just like the diversity in your schedule. You seem like a definitely like a P type personality, which is just basically as versus to plans, just like the being spontaneous. And honestly, I love
Yes.
that. Like, there's so much freedom in that too. Um,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. What were some of your favorite projects that you book? Are you saying like their gigs? Like, what were some of your favorites among those?
Yeah. Ooh, I have a few. Is it okay if I name like a few?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay. I feel like I couldn't name just one, but um, yeah, honestly, well, before I name a few, I feel like it really has to do with the people who are on the projects. I have gotten to meet some really special individuals, and I feel like every time I talk about a project, I'm like, I loved it because of the people that were on the project.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the main reasons, just like in their kindness and their just ability to lead a room so well. But this past December, I did a show called Our House in a theater in New York, and it was so fun. It was just a dance show, so there was no singing or there was acting, but there was no singing, which I don't mind singing, but I prefer not to if I don't have to. Um, but it was so cool. I got to play a character, and it was one of my really good friends who put on the show, and uh, it like sold out the theater. My family got to come,
Wow.
and it was just so fun. It was the first time in a long time where I got to play a character again, but also dance like I like to dance, and so
Mm.
it's truly one of my favorite experiences. And all of my friends, like really good friends, were in it. So it was so much fun. So that project, I'm in a company. We do a lot of like small gigs and projects, and the director is incredible. Um, what else? I did this clothing. I don't know if you're familiar with Cezanne, I think is the name of the clothing brand.
I think maybe I've heard of it. Do you know how to
Maybe
spell it?
Sezane. And there's like a
Maybe.
asterisk on one of these. I didn't know what it was, but it's like this French brand. And they were doing a clothing ad campaign. And it was so easy, but it was fun because I felt like I could have played dress up. They like picked out my outfit, and it was just a one shoot in the city, and we did like a dance across the street, and very like Beatles-esque, if you know that
Ooh.
picture of them. So
Mm-hmm.
that was really cool. That was my first ever like clothing campaign that I got to do. That was so fun and cool. Um yeah, and
That's
then
cool.
yeah, just it's really just about I'm just thinking of like other projects that I've gotten to do with just people that I love and friends. And all of those I think are my favorite projects.
Mm. Do you often get to do those things with friends, or is it kind of far and few between?
I feel like I've been really exposed to a lot of different areas in New York, so I know a lot of people in different pockets. So I honestly feel like I do a lot with friends, which is so cool.
Wow.
We're always auditioning in the same rooms or asked to be in the same projects. So I think
Mm-hmm.
at this point in my life, in my career, I'm doing a lot more with friends. I think maybe in the future it might be a little different. So I'm really trying to enjoy and like live in this times of doing things with all my people.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Just thinking about to the routine of that, and you get to work with your friends, and you get to have something different every day. That just sounds so enjoyable and just such a fun way to live. I love that.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun. Very grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, do you think there's something about the dance scene, specifically in New York, that people don't understand until they experience it? Whether it be the vibe or the people.
Mm. Yeah, that's also. Can you hear that? Is that okay? There's like something
Oh,
going off outside.
you're totally good.
Okay.
Just
Okay, let's make it
barely.
sure. Okay. Um, yeah, so I just coming from the South, and which I loved where I grew up, but I had this expectation of New York as being really scary and really mean. And so I was expecting to be more afraid and more like just not being able to connect with people. And that was the like far of what actually it was. I feel like people expect like cutthroat, like no one is for each other, everyone's for themselves.
Like I'm walking
Um,
here.
what do you say?
I'm not gonna do the accent, but everyone's like, I'm walking here.
Oh yeah. I'm walking here. No, exactly. You expect that. I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
I no, yeah. You think that. You think people are gonna like push you off the side of the street. Now I have seen some crazy things, but the people are so much more welcoming and helpful than I thought, especially in the dance community. I think because once you're in it, you realize how hard it is, like rejection, early hours, just trying to work so much so you can do what you love. And so I think there's just this community that just binds together so well because it's such a niche thing. And so I've just met the most amazing people who are just like for you and like connect you with people and just want to lift each other up and be there. And so I think that was something I had to learn the moment I stepped here was, oh, these people were actually so awesome and also want me to succeed just as much as I do. So yeah.
That's so cool. Is there anyone among those people that stood out to you that was like, oh, this person especially made an impact?
Mm. Oh, so many people. The first person though I could think of is she's one of my good friends. Her name's Crystalline Gill. She is an amazing full professional dancer. It has done so much. So yeah, just one of the most amazing dancers I know. And she it just immediately I call her a connector of people because she's also a teacher. I took her class and I was like, can we get coffee? And she was like a stranger, like just asking her to get coffee. And she was like, yes. And we got coffee. This was like 3 years ago. And she just immediately was so helpful for me in my walk in New York. And now we're really, really close, really, really good friends. And she was always just so real and so honest and has like, yeah, just given me opportunities that or just throwing my name in rooms that I'm not even in yet and like she's she's such a share, and I think that is like just so incredible. So she definitely stood out to me as just someone who cares so deeply about the community. And yeah, now we're friends and I think we'll be friends for forever for sure.
Wow. That is so special. And
Yeah.
how cool that it's a place like that where you can just literally, you were saying she's a stranger and just asking to get coffee, and then you gain so much from that. And just, I feel as though it's like everyone's building their career there, right? And people
Yes.
could be very harsh, like you were saying. They could be very like,
Hmm.
nope, we're gonna select these type of people, these people that we already know. But the fact that she's open to that must have meant
Yeah.
a lot to you. Especially, I'm sure you were new at the time there, right? Had you lived there for long?
Yes. No, I was very new. I was probably like half a year in, maybe, if
Yeah.
even. So yeah,
What a blessing. That's so cool.
truly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um, I also want to ask if being there has kind of shaped how you see yourself as a dancer or even as a
Mm.
person as well. Like, how
Mm.
has that changed things? How has it grown you?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a lot. It's definitely changed me a lot. Mostly in good ways, but yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I grew up being very much a people pleaser, very much a yes girl. Like, okay, I'll do it. Yes, yes, yes. Which partially I still am. And I partially don't think that's fully bad. But the people pleasing side, I think New York has definitely taught me like I can't be that in New York or I will be run so thin. I remember having to be like that, or I was coming into the city like that and quickly learned. if I say yes to everything, if I try to please everyone and whatever, I'm going to be run over by a car or like like in
Oh
the street. Like I
no.
can't, you can't. You truly
Wow.
can't. So I I quickly learned myself like I have to also watch out for myself and know like it's okay to say no. It's okay to take a break. It's okay
Mhm.
to um do what you want to do sometimes and take action in different ways. So New York has definitely taught me I can't be pushover and yeah, and as a dancer, I think that's as a dancer and a human for sure. More so I think humanity in that sense, but as a dancer, I feel like I've grown so much in so many ways. I think one, facing a lot of rejection, and just auditioning and getting a lot of no's, that definitely shapes you in a certain way. But also like you just gain more grit and passion because you're like, okay, I get so many rejection, but I keep going. So
Mm.
I think that just builds your character so much. And then also just in the way I dance too, I feel thankful to train so many different styles and learn from different people. And I feel like my movement has definitely expanded, which I'm so grateful for. And
Mm.
I've really, yeah, learned so much about myself as a mover. And um, it excites me because I want to live here longer and I want to see like where like more of that will take me to.
Yeah. How cool. Um, was there ever an aspect of, because I know sometimes you get in that environment, not from personal experience, but just sometimes
Hmm.
you tend to get in that environment and it's more of a competitive place. And I'm
Hmm.
sure it helped that you were able to make friends and it was more of that sort of community
Yeah.
sense. But at first, did you ever feel that element of competition? And if you felt that, how were you able to stay confident in that style that you have?
Mm. That's a great question. I feel that I don't know if competition is 100% the right word, but there was definitely this at certain moments things that would come up that everyone wanted. And so
Mm.
there is, yes, maybe a little sense of competition, maybe more of a sense of just like drive in everyone. Um, and like people just kind of pop off in those moments of
Mm.
like, okay, here's this audition, like, let's go, here's this class. And it can be very intimidating of like everyone like being so set in themselves and what they do and just wanting the job or wanting the gig or wanting to be seen in class. So that can be definitely hard and intimidating and scary when you're new or even still now when I'm in an audition room and I see who's there and I'm thinking to myself like, wow, I'm in this room with these people and they're so good and this is so scary.
Uh-huh.
And I think just something I try to tell myself is and what I try to tell people too is the room would be completely different if you weren't there. So if you didn't show up, the room would have a different feeling. The air would feel different, you know? So I think I try to tell myself, like when I'm in the room and I'm feeling a little intimidated, like I showed up. That's 90% of it, 95% of it. Um, Sometimes it's hard to even just show up to those things. Right. Um, and so you showed up, you're here, you're making a difference in the room no matter what, no matter how you do, even if you mess up the choreography, even if you, um, don't do the best that you think you did, you're still changing the room in a sense. And so just knowing like, okay, like I'm here, let me just have fun. Let me just show that I can enjoy this. And I think the times where I felt the most confident is when I'm truly in my body and knowing and just feeling like I love this and I'm having a good time. Um, and just knowing that I'm just a new, unique person too, and a unique individual, just like everyone else in the room. And no one has experienced everything I've been through, and I haven't experienced everything they've been through. Um, and so we're all coming from just different parts of life and in different ways. So yeah, I hope that made sense. I was a little all over the
No,
place, but
absolutely. I love
okay.
that mindset that you have, or that. when you said if I wasn't there, the room would be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
What a cool like way to frame that. It's
Mm.
just I feel like immediately that would give you a sense of like, okay, I matter here. Like I have some ground here, and I'm sure just also having the background and the skills and just knowing that about yourself, like, okay, I have these skills. I'm sure that gave you
Mm-hmm.
also like an extra sense of like, I really do make a difference here. Like when I step
Mm.
into this room, I really do change it. So I love that you
Mm.
framed it like that. That's just so cool.
Thank
If there's
you.
somebody who's coming into the dance scene and maybe they're new or maybe they don't have that full confidence yet or they're not sure about their skills, is there any advice you would give them?
Mm. Ooh, there's so much. I think one, just like something I were to tell myself before I went is probably everything you expect is not what it's going to be.
Mm,
So just prepare yourself to be surprised in, I think, good ways. Um, and I, I just say don't mold. Like, don't try to fit in to what you think is the right way. I feel like I've really leaned into who I am as a person and letting myself bring that into dance and letting my humanity and the life experiences I've been through influence how I move. Um, and so I would just say never let anyone tell you who you are. You know who you are before you step into the dance room. And yes, train, learn, take information, grow in that, but never lose who you are and who you know yourself to be when you come into the city.
wow, that's so cool. I feel like there's a couple things that could definitely go on quotes that you've said. I'm not gonna lie. Just
Oh,
very inspiring. Wow. Um,
that's so sweet.
yeah, and I'm sure if people are listening that um, maybe are in that same spot, they're gonna take a lot
Mm-hmm.
from that too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's just so cool. Do you think there's a challenge that was difficult to overcome when you were there? Like, what was
Mm.
probably the hardest thing about being there, and then how did you overcome that?
Oof. Yes. um, I feel like there's a lot of different things I could say, but I think one specifically as a dancer in the city, I briefly talked about it a little bit, is just the rejection aspect. Especially when you feel really close. I've been through a lot of auditions where I've been like maybe the last four in the room or the final callback or just feeling really confident about something and then I won't get it. And you'd think like after each rejection, it would get easier. And sometimes, yes, but sometimes it just hurts like more than you think it would again. So even now, after almost 4 years being here, I still really struggle with rejection and getting the no, even when I feel so close. So I think that challenge is something I'm still trying to navigate. And still trying to know that my worth isn't tied to a yes and isn't tied to what I get and receive.
Mm,
And I say this with trying to tell myself it and believe that because sometimes it can be hard to even believe that, but I do think that is so true. But I think in that challenge, like I'm being um I'm growing in each rejection, I'm growing in each no. um and truly just, yeah, trying to let myself not give up in those moments has really built my character. And yeah, I'm still learning how to face it, still learning how to, yeah, grow from that. But I would say those are the biggest challenges I face.
wow, that absolute. Wow. I feel like it would be so cool being in that environment, but also facing those like challenges would be a lot. Like especially on that level, or when you said you're
Hmm.
getting that close, I feel like that
Yeah.
would be very hard to navigate. Um,
Hmm.
and just the fact that you keep pursuing that even after being rejected, I think also says a lot about your endurance as a dancer. And even
Mm,
though, okay, this stings, this is not what I had hoped for, the fact that
yeah.
you can keep auditioning, keep trying out. And I'm sure that's contributed to a lot of the yeses too. The fact that you
Yes.
kept going, um,
Yes.
which I
Mm-hmm.
just think is super cool and the mark of a great dancer. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. And it absolutely is like, I think also I like that you brought up worth because
Mm,
I feel like worth is a lot of it's not really talked about enough in the conversation in the context of dance,
yeah.
but it really is a big factor. Like how you see yourself, what you believe. If you believe one failed audition affects your worth, um, like what you believe about that, I feel like affects a lot of your internal
Mm,
thoughts, and then that in turn plays into your confidence and shines through in how you dance and how you audition. So, um,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I feel like they're definitely, and I can just tell in the way I dance if I'm walking out into an audition room or even a class and I'm already talking to myself in a negative light where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna mess up or oh, I don't look good doing this. And most likely I'm going to mess up or just not have fun or
mm-hmm.
do well. But if I go in with the mindset of, okay, maybe I don't know it completely, but I know this part, so I'm gonna attack this part, or hey, I am a good dancer. Let me show up like that. And I feel like in just the way I dance, I can just tell the difference. So a lot of it is the mindset and just like how you talk to yourself is so true in general, not even in just dance, but especially in high intense environments. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
talk to yourself kindly because it does
For
help.
sure.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. Such good advice.
Thank
Um,
you.
and yeah, like you were saying, applies to honestly everything, not even just dance.
Hmm.
Um, but looking forward as well, I know we talked a
Hmm.
little bit about how you've grown, but just to kind of recap, like how you've grown through dance, and then what do you hope for the future to grow in?
Mm. Yeah. That's so hard because I think I definitely take things year by year, which I think is fine.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, just like the past 5 years, I just feel like I've grown so much in yeah, just like resilience as we've been talking about this whole time and um growing in just in general, just movement quality, um, yeah, and facing rejection. And I feel like in the next 5 years, I just really want to continue to be in rooms that I love to be in with people that I love. And um, yeah, those little feelings of like wanting to give up, I'm like, just like, I don't even want them to show up ever in my mind.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I just want to continue to work hard, but also not strive to the point of burning out because I do feel like that's happened. So with me before where I've been like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm going to quit, blah, blah, blah. And so I really want to be able to take my years as a dancer and, yeah, and not allow myself to give completely everything. Like, also allow myself to do the things that I love to do as a person. And I think honestly, that just influences your dancer life more so too. So yeah, I have dreams, I have goals, and I really would love to accomplish those. But ultimately, I would just love to lead a life that I love with the people that I love.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your journey and just sharing your experience. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, even if someone who doesn't dance is watching this, I'm sure they can still take away, like,
Mm,
when we talked about, like, mindset and just also an experience that not a lot of people get to have. So it's
yeah.
cool hearing about it from you when you're literally there and you're living that right now. Um,
Yeah.
is there any last minute things that you would like to add or um, that you want to say to anybody who's maybe listening?
Mm, mm. I feel like, I don't know, I guess if for all the dancers that might be listening, yeah, just keep going. I think I've already said that, but
Mhm.
a lot. But um I feel like there were times where I've been rejected or didn't get something, and I've felt really disappointed. Let yourself feel disappointed. Let yourself grieve it, because I feel like a lot of the times I would push it down and then it would explode later. So
Mhm.
let yourself grieve the things, because it is really hard. So let yourself feel it. Let yourself be emotional. And then just keep going. I remember there's been times where I didn't get something, and then a year later, looking back and being like, I'm so grateful, because if I got that, I wouldn't have been experiencing what I'm experiencing now. Um, and so it's really hard, but there's so much to look forward to, um, and yeah, to experience. So let yourself hold both the grief and the joy all at the same time.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it. And
of
just again,
course.
thank you for making time today and just, yeah, I
Oh
appreciate
my
it. So
gosh.
it's,
Absolutely. Thank you. This was so much fun. I loved getting to talk to you
oh,
finally and
yay.
share thoughts and everything. Yeah, you're so awesome.
That's all for this week's episode of Rhythm and Reality. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, follow along, and keep an eye out for more episodes.